So I bought this chair and went to a consignment shop and it was perfect. Perfect decor. Did I need it? No. But $600, why not? But that's not what it really cost me. As a business owner and a mom, the real price tag was my sense of control. The very thing I fought so hard to regain cost me months of progress on my financial goals. And I was proof of a painful truth. I was my own worst enemy. I was earning six figures, building an empire for my kids, and yet I felt completely broke. I was stuck on a hamster wheel of financial self-sabotage, constantly justifying raids on my savings for things I didn't actually need. This chair ended up changing everything I thought I knew about money. Save, justify, spend, regret, repeat. I was exhausted, not from working, but from fighting my own brain. Welcome to I Date Money. I'm Lisa Drennan, wealth activator and creator of Smell the Money and author of Lionfin's Money Adventure. Discover the magic of saving, spending, and sharing. I help divorced mompreneurs who earn six figures but still feel broke stop money leaks, rewrite their money story, and build confident wealth so they can finally feel rich, not just look it. Get ready to find at least $500 in your monthly budget with a 7-day conscious spending challenge that helps you identify where your money is going. Join the Smell of Money today for only $97. Say what? I give you $97 to get $500? Yes, please. Visit iDateMoney/Smell of Money. The link is in the description. I get a quick rush, a moment of feeling powerful, and then immediate rushing guilt. It felt like I was working so hard just to run in place, but this chair, it was the turning point. This is what led me to a simple brain trick that finally broke the cycle of emotional spending for good. And no, it wasn't another restrictive budget or a complicated spreadsheet. It was a mental shift that taught me how to tell the difference between what my stressed out brain wanted in the moment and what my life, my business, and my children needed for the long run. And today, I'm going to share that exact trick with you step by step. The anatomy of my self-sabotage. For years, I felt like I was fighting a battle against myself and losing badly. I would do everything you're supposed to. I'd set up a savings account, give it a hopeful name like Kids Legacy, and I diligently transferred money into it. Watching that balance grow gave me a sense of pride. For a hot second, felt like the successful CEO I was supposed to be. But then the feeling would creep in. It wasn't a need. It was a pull, an itch. It could be triggered by anything. A rough client meeting, seeing another entrepreneur's success on Instagram, or the sheer exhaustion of juggling my business and my kids. Suddenly, it was like a mutiny in my mind. The part of my brain that loves instant gratification would seize the controls from the long-term visionary, and the justifications it would whisper were masterful, so convincing. It's an investment in your brand, my brain would say about a designer bag. You worked so hard and sacrificed so much. You deserve a reward. My personal favorite, this will make you feel more confident for that big presentation. The excuses were endless, and they all did one thing. They gave me permission to betray my own goals. The second I clicked buy, there was a rush, a genuine chemical high. It's a sugar rush for your brain that dopamine loves. It felt like relief. It felt like I was in control, but it was a total lie because within an hour, that high would vanish, and all that was left was a sickening cocktail of guilt, shame, and anxiety about my financial future. I'd look at my savings, which I was trying so hard to fill, but I kept punching holes in it. It wasn't just that I was bad with money. I felt like a fraud. I had dreams of creating generational wealth for my kids, of investing to multiply what I earned, of having a cash cushion that would act as a real safety net. But with every impulse buy, I was actively torching that dream. I was choosing a quick buzz over my family's long-term security. The worst part was the quiet chaos of feeling completely out of control. Successful business owner on the outside, but on the inside, I was a hot mess. I was caught in this exhausting loop. Save, justify, spend, regret, and then to do it all over again. The problem wasn't my income. The problem was in my head. My own thoughts were setting me up to fail. Your thoughts are the most powerful tool that you have. And you want to know what the turning point was? The breaking point came a few days after I bought this chair. I'd moved the money from my savings, telling myself it was a power purchase to make my home more comfortable. An impulsive buy that I didn't need, but really loved. And I still love it. But that feeling of unshakable confidence I had promised myself, it never showed up. Instead, I was just sitting at my kitchen table, staring at my banking app. I saw the transfer. I saw the lower balance in my savings. I saw the credit card bill where the $600 charge sat, mocking me. In that moment, the whole elaborate story I had spun for myself just crumbled. It wasn't a power purchase. It was a $600 reaction to feeling stressed and overwhelmed. I had used shopping as medicine. That realization hit me, and I wasn't a weak person. So if willpower wasn't the answer, what? My brain was just running an old, outdated program. Maybe one I learned earlier in my marriage where I wasn't in charge of the money, or one designed just to survive the stress of all the changes. It's buggy. And it's not built for worlds where one-click checkouts unlock our emotional wallets. I realized I was never going to win by just using more willpower. My willpower was already exhausted from running a business and a household. I didn't need more willpower. I needed a better strategy. I needed a way to interrupt that faulty wiring to create a sense of calm and safety around my money and get the CEO part of my mind back online. This wasn't about shaming myself. It was about awareness. It was about finally understanding that my brain's immediate urges and my family's best interest weren't always on the same team. So here's the brain trick. It changed everything for me. I call it the intentional pause. It's not just about saying no. It's about creating breathing room between an emotional urge and a financial decision. It's 2 simple steps designed to do one thing: get your rational, visionary brain hack back in the driver's seat. Step 1 is the 24-hour rule. Whenever you feel that powerful urge to buy something that isn't a pre-planned necessity, you do nothing. That intense, I need this now feeling is a flash flood of dopamine. It's powerful and it overwhelms your judgment. This 24-hour rule is your dam. You just hold everything back for a day. Put the item in your online cart, ask the store to put it on hold for you, write it on a list, and walk away. I know this is challenging, but by forcing yourself to wait, you'll let that chemical flood recede. The urgency disappears and you can see clearly again. But just waiting is only half the battle. The real magic happens in step 2. Step 2 is asking yourself 2 reframing questions during the 24-hour pause. These questions are not, do I need this? Because our brains are fantastic liars. These questions are designed to reframe the purchase and tie it back to the life you're building, the financial freedom that you desire. The first question is, which future am I voting for with this money? This question turns a purchase into a vote. Every dollar you spend is a ballot cast for the kind of life you want. Is spending this $200 a vote for a future where you're anxious about cash flow? Or is keeping the $200 to invest a vote for a future where your money multiplies, where you have freedom, security, and peace? You're no longer choosing between a dress and nothing. You're choosing between a dress and a financial sovereignty. The second question is, what job am I hiring this purchase to do? Think of every purchase as hiring an item to do a job. What's its job description? Are you hiring it to solve a real functional problem? I'm hiring this new software because it'll save my team 5 hours a week. That's a qualified candidate. But so often, we hire purchases to do emotional jobs. I'm hiring this luxury retreat to make me feel successful. I'm hiring this expensive dinner to make me forget about a successful launch. When you get honest about the emotional job you're trying to fill, you can see the purchase for what it is, a temporary and usually ineffective employee. You can then ask, is there a better candidate for this job? If the job is relieve entrepreneurial stress, a 10-minute walk, a common cup of tea, or a quick call with a friend is a far more effective employee than a $500 shopping spree. You're basically interviewing your impulse and realizing it's not the right fit. So, what results can you expect after the trick of implementing this intentional pause? I know when I first did it, it was awkward. My emotional brain screamed for its usual fix, but I stuck with it. And the first time I successfully abandoned a cart, I felt like a new kind of rush. It wasn't the cheap high of a purchase. It was the deep, satisfying pride of finally being in control. The results were wild. Within 3 months, my savings account had a real cushion for the first time ever. But the money wasn't even the biggest win. The real challenge was psychological. I finally felt that the powerful, confident woman I was in my business was the same woman looking at her bank account. That's when I realized wealth isn't a number, it's a nervous system state. The constant nagging anxiety began to quiet down. I started to see my savings not as a piggy bank to raid, but as my CEO fund, a shock absorber to smooth out the bumpy roads. This isn't about becoming a minimalist who never enjoys the fruits of her labor again. It's about switching from mindless, emotional consuming to joyful, intentional spending that turns your 6-figure income into true, lasting wealth. Now, when I buy something, it's a real choice. I voted for it. I hired for a legitimate job. And because of that, there's no guilt. Just the quiet satisfaction of knowing my money is finally working for me, not against me. Making it a lasting habit, a trick, is only useful if you use it. And turning the intentional pause into an automatic habit is what makes the change stick. 2 things help me lock this in. First, I put my wealth building on autopilot. I set up an automatic transfer to my savings account and investment accounts for the day I get paid. This is a CEO move. You decide on your financial priorities once, and the system maintains them. I don't have to rely on discipline. It makes saving and investing my default setting. It's paying my most important employee, my future self, first. Next week, I'll show you exactly how I automated my savings so it grows even when life gets messy. Second, I started rewarding my progress, but not with more stuff. You have to reward the behavior you want to encourage. When I hit my first big savings goal, I didn't buy a gadget. Instead, I invested in myself and took a professional development course I'd been wanting. When I successfully used the intentional pause, I would take a moment to journal about it, noting the feeling of empowerment where I felt it in my body. And this reinforces the good behavior and trains your brain to get a good feeling from saving and multiplying money, not just from spending it. For high-achieving women like us, it's easy to believe that if we just work harder and earn more, the money problems will solve themselves. I am living proof that this isn't true. True financial control isn't about restriction. It's about rewriting your money story. It's about feeling safe and powerful with your finances so you can go from earning 6 figures to actually building wealth. The intentional pause, that combo of the 24-hour rule and the 2 reframing questions, is that strategy. It gives you the space to go from a knee-jerk emotional reaction to a calm, rational response. It helps you make sure your spending aligns with the legacy you want to build. You absolutely have the power to break the cycle. It starts with one purchase you delay, one question you ask yourself. Okay, now I want to hear from you because I know I'm not alone. As a successful business owner, what was the one purchase that made you realize something was deeply out of alignment with your money? Share that story in the comments. Your honesty could be the permission slip another mompreneur needs to start rewriting her own money story and finally feel in control. And if you're ready to stop feeling broke and start feeling rich the way you're meant to, Join the Smell of Money. You'll get immediate access to the 7-day conscious spending challenge and my wealth activation codes. It's just $97, and you'll find at least $500 hiding in your budget. Visit idatemoney.com, smell of money. Check the link in the descriptions. And remember, it doesn't matter how much money you have, it's what you do with it.